Ghostwood whiskey, 4-grain blended bourbon whiskey. Whiskey. That's a good looking bottle.
That is a good looking bottle.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Welcome, dear listener, to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Across the table from me is Mr. W2.
Good evening.
How do you do?
I do well, and you?
I'm doing all right. Living the dream, I guess they say. Might be somebody else's nightmare, but whatever. I don't know what the hell that means. Thank you for listening and following on all of our social medias, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I said Twitter, it's X. Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook.
People that are using it know what you meant.
Right. Yeah, it's probably like Sandstone. You know, it can be Verizon Wireless Amphitheater all at once, or whatever it is now. It's always going to be Sandstone to me.
Or the artist formerly known as.
Yeah. Prince. What? Well, I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful satin black whiskey bottle, and with its little white lettering, and it's called Ghostwood. What can you tell me about it?
This is one, Facebook and all the other social apps, as you click around on different things and you have tendencies to search for different things,
yeah,
all of a sudden your ads and everything kind of start reflecting that. Good or bad, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a good thing. And this particular day, I was clicking on and looking at just different random distilleries and whatnot. And this ad on Facebook popped up for Ghostwood. Ghostwood is a distillery in Montana. Have we had anything from Montana?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. Have you ever been through Montana?
I have not. I've heard it's God's country.
Or South Dakota, or anything.
No.
Wyoming.
No. Nothing north of Colorado.
I'm sure Montana also has its more densely populated metros, but for the most part,
Helena, the capital city.
Yeah. But for the most part, there ain't shit up there. It's just miles and miles of open country. And so, yeah, they are way up there. Going up and doing the Sturgis Bike Rally, we have taken, and up until just a few years ago, I actually had no clue that the Montana state border literally is just a handful of miles around the corner from Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower sits in Wyoming. I've been to Devil's Tower a ton of times, and we've ridden all throughout there. And a couple years ago, we decided to go to a specific bar that was up in Montana, and so I was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." When you're up there for Bike Week, it's all about the ride. So I didn't care if it was going to be an all-day trip to kind of get up there or whatever. But we took off and left from Devil's Tower, and I mean, it was less than 10 miles, and it felt like it was just kind of this big winding curve that just kind of opened up to the big sign that said, "Welcome to Montana." I came close to running out of gas getting to the next gas station that was just inside the state border. I made it, thankfully. But anyway, point is, there's not a whole lot up there. And so where I'm going with this is a distillery that without those ads and without Facebook seeing my likes and what I'm clicking on and whatnot, I would have never had visibility to this particular distillery. Didn't know anything about them, didn't know who they were, anything. And this ad popped up, and yeah, this gorgeous, solid satin finished black bottle with a white ghost tree kind of a image on it. It caught my attention.
Did you send me the link to that? And I ended up giving you money for another bottle?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yes. So I started researching it, and I had made the decision, I'm going to buy this bottle. And so I went out on their website, and I sent you a link to it. And when I went out to the website, it was on sale that week. And then I was like, oh, shit, they have a barrel strength, too. And it's also on sale. And you're like, well, I'll pitch in for one of them.
I mean, we can't have one without the other. We needed something to, we wanted to drive the Chevette, and we wanted to drive the Corvette.
Right.
So which one do we have going on here first?
Well, I thought it made sense to start with the lower proofed one, but our lower proofed one is 90 proof.
Yeah.
So this is it is categorized as a bourbon. The distillery is Ghostwood Distillery, States, Montana. There is no age statement on there. It is a blended bourbon whiskey. Okay. And it comes in at 90 proof. And I pulled a whole bunch of stuff from the distiller. We've gotten so used to having Flaviar at our disposal. And aside from getting free shipping and some decent pricing on most things, it's just a nice resource because they have most things that we try, even if I buy it there or not. Most things they have on their website, and they have tasting notes that go along with it. They have their taste spiral that they call it, distiller notes and all that. And so this is one of those that they do not have. And so thankfully I was able to pull a few things from their website. So on their website I found Go Beyond the Firelight. Camping alone in the woods while growing up, your imagination could have a tendency to run away from you. Before you blazes a warm, snapping fire, but beyond the light there is darkness, and it's holding its breath.
Well, that's not foreboding. I like it.
The feeling of being alone against the mysteries of the world led me to create Ghostwood. This recipe was inspired by and for that world. When the remnants of summer have given way to the bracing turn of winter and darkness lurks just over your firelit shoulders, causing you to smile with a hidden warmth. Like I was talking about, going through and riding through those countrysides up there, there's not a lot of population up there. And so that darkness that they're kind of speaking with really is a real thing in that area.
Nothing but you and the stars.
Yeah. You get out. There is no glow of the city because there really isn't much of a city anywhere around.
I think I would love that.
It's pretty cool.
I haven't seen a sky, full of stars, from horizon to horizon in years. It'd be amazing without any light pollution.
Right.
There's always some kind of light pollution going on.
And
what you getting on the nose? Anything good?
A lot of usual suspects, but
smells like bourbon.
Smells like bourbon.
So far, so good.
Got some oak.
Yeah.
Kind of a caramely
vanilla kind of thing going on.
A little bit of spice.
I wonder if they got a little bit of rye in the mash bill.
Yeah, I would think so. I was also pleasantly surprised when I pulled that cellophane off the top of this bottle. This bottle is topped with a hardwood topper, real cork on there.
Yeah.
And the topper is stained black with their little ghost tree white logo on the top of it. So.
And it's natural cork. My favorite. Well, let's get some on the palate.
Let's do it.
There's right before the finish, jumping ahead, right before the finish, it's almost like it's got a touch of that sherry cask.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Like the Breckenridge, what was it, PX?
Yeah, the PX.
PX.
Yeah, definitely not overpowering, but yeah, just a little bit of that. Is that sherry, or is that maybe just a little bit of apple?
It reminds me of the sherry cask finish that we pick up on. But on the palate, yeah, apples for sure. There's apple, there's oak. The oak hits me right away.
There's a nuttiness to it.
You think so?
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of like a peanut brittle kind of a.
Yeah, like a hard toffee kind of taste. That's pretty cool. And that finish is long and warm.
Yeah.
and sweet. This is
90 proof. It's
90
it's
proof. This
not
is
that
really
hot.
good.
Yeah, it's smooth and easy drinking.
So far, it seems like Montana knows what the fuck they're doing. Like we found out with all those Colorado whiskeys.
Yeah.
Remember, for several episodes, we did a taster box from Flavier, and it had all those Colorado whiskeys.
Yeah. What was
And
it?
they were
10th Soldier or 10th Mountain?
10th Mountain,
Breckenridge, and then
Axe in the Oak.
Axe in
It's
the
right
Oak.
up here on the top. Axe in the Oak, the Breckenridge PX, and like you said, 10th Mountain. And that was a cool little story on that 10th Mountain. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is great. Yeah, I could totally, you're sitting around the campfire in the middle of, the wilderness, pitch black over your shoulders, like it was reading a little bit ago, and everybody's sitting there sipping on a little whiskey, maybe some more than others. There's always that bunch in the group.
I was not able to find any specifics on the mash bill, but this is a 4-grain whiskey, and the barrel strength that we're going to follow this up with is also it's also a 4-grain whiskey. It's just straight from the barrel.
So 4-grain implies what? I'm guessing rye, corn.
It's a bourbon, so you definitely got corn, rye, barley,
and wheat. Totally guessing over here.
Thinking about Weller's,
Yeah.
wheat makes sense.
4-grain bourbon is the most complex of all bourbons, yet with a complex recipe comes a harmonious flavor. 4-grain and Spire, from Oak and Eden anyway, begins with a mash bill of 55% corn, 18% rye, 22% wheat, and 5% malted barley.
There you go.
Then aged in charred American white oak barrels. But that's Oak and Eden. That's not this one here. So that's
That
just
is a
one
great
example.
bourbon. Have you ever had that one?
I think I have. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, this one here is, but I mean that's Oak and Eden. This one's the Ghostwood, and whatever their
I feel like if you're calling it,
percentages.
a 4-grain. 4-grain is such a standard label that maybe there is something standard with. If it's a 4-grain, it's these 4 grains.
Yeah, just
percentages
different
can be
percentages,
are going to be different,
Yeah.
but that's really good, man. It's interesting because they talk about 4-grain being a complex bourbon. I'm actually finding this not in a bad way, but rather straightforward.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
because the first second
a lot going on, but it's also very simple.
the second we took it on the nose, we both said, "Well, smells like bourbon." So
Yep.
it was at least bare minimum of 2.5 on the nose, but this one here had a little bit extra, and
Yeah.
I was curious about the weeded part because it almost had a little bit of a grassy note on the nose. To me, that's what with the weeded bourbons, like they have a bit of a grassy taste to them. I'm not too sure what to say about the bottle presentation. I mean, it's totally cool. It's satin black with white lettering on there. You've got your natural cork, your like a dark wood. You got the logo, the tree logo up on the top. There's nothing on the bottle to describe what's inside, so that kind of makes me wonder.
Other than blended bourbon whiskey.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if I saw this on a shelf in the store, I'm not sure I would go for it. It just doesn't wow you, jump out on it, or jump out at you. But I definitely like the look of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, with a kind of spooky story on the back of it that it's got, what mysteries lie beyond the flickering flames that light your evenings. Ghostwood 4-grain bourbon whiskeys for the challengers of the unknown, the seekers, and the storytellers. This whiskey was inspired by the darkness beyond the campfire. Which sounds pretty cool. Makes me wonder if it, just by going by that, it would make me wonder if there was any kind of smokiness to it. There's not. I didn't pick up on any smokiness to it.
Not at all.
I might be interested. And how much was it? Do you remember off the top of your
It was
head?
like $52.
$52.
And the barrel proof was, I think, 63 or 64.
Very interesting.
Actually, I have it right here. We got it on sale. The regular price on this was $65.
Oh, okay.
and the barrel proof was 82. But yeah, this one was like 52, and the barrel proof was like 64.
You know what? I'm not mad at it. To me, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
I'd like to follow it right on up with our barrel proof. So that way we can kind of just at the same time kind of do a comparison, because we're going from 90 proof of this one to their barrel proof it's 120 proof.
Yeah. 90 to 120.
No, let's rate it first. Yep.
Okay.
Let's rate it first, and then we'll pour it up.
What'd you give it on the nose?
Solid 4.
Weird. I underscored it. I gave it a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any particular reason, or?
Well, because it smelled like your average bourbon.
Standard
on the
bourbon.
nose. Yeah, just your standard bourbon. It didn't really have anything that really jumped out at me. It's like, oh, this is interesting. This smells like peach, or it smells like it's kind of burnt sugar, or sweet raisin or some shit, baking spices. None of that. There was a bit of a spice to it, but it's still better than average.
Yep.
I think 2.5 is average, straight plain Jane average. This is a full point over that, but it was definitely good on the nose. How about the palate?
4 1/4.
That's what I gave it.
All right.
Because on the palate, it woke up.
Yeah.
On my palate anyway, it woke up. It's like, hey, we're fucking here to party. It's that kind of campfire where there's your ladies are dancing naked around it. And maybe there's some marshmallows, but everybody's getting toasted. But yeah, it seemed like a great time on the palate. How about the finish?
I pulled that on through 4 1/4.
So did I. Were you copying me? What in the hell's going on here? What was it about the finish that you really liked?
It was just nice and smooth. There was a little bit of a heat, but not hardly anything to write home about.
Uh-huh.
But it was just kind of it was nice and smooth.
Yeah, the heat stuck to the palate. It didn't gouge your trachea on the way down.
Yeah.
Bottle presentation?
It's a very simple bottle, but
Nothing wrong with a simple bottom.
I mean,
Simple bottom girls, you make the... No, that's not how it goes.
But, it's my favorite color, so it's black.
Black.
It matches my closet and all my T-shirts.
Not much of a punt going on there, but...
No,
it is
all right.
the old school... what I keep calling like a Bell style whiskey bottle.
Nope. I probably overrated it, but I gave it a 4.5.
4.5. I gave it a 3.5. Better than average.
No.
I do like the way it looks.
There's definitely I gave it a 4.5. I gave it 4.5. There is no wow factor to it. It's just a nice satin black with some gloss here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you pick it up, you look at it, you're not wowed, but you're like, that's pretty cool looking. Wonder what this is about. Mm-hmm. You're at least intrigued by it. So what did your total end up being?
8.5.
8.5. I got 7 3/4.
All right, not that far off.
Not that far off. We both enjoy the hell out of it, and there's nothing wrong with this bourbon whatsoever. I didn't write down any thoughts on it as like a little Reader's Digest synopsis.
What I do think is interesting is the literally the only difference between this bottle and the barrel proofed bottle is, and part of me, I'm definitely not even going to try it, but part of me wants to peel this off, but this barrel proof is a sticker at the bottom of it.
Huh.
It makes me wonder if it's the same exact bottle with a sticker put on top of it.
Are the words on the back the same? Is everything?
Well, the back is
okay.
Okay. Well, the back of this is a decal, so it makes me think that if I were to peel this off, it might be the exact. They've saved some money and got one bottle printed, and then was like, let's stick a sticker on there. I'm not mad at them.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Because
it's a cool looking sticker.
That's the other thing too, is you look at the bottle and it's actually printed on the bottle, and so the regular one has no decals of any kind. There is no label, so to speak. It is printed just directly on the bottle. But then you get to the barrel proof, and then there's a barrel proof label on the front underneath Ghostwood, and then the back of it, that's kind of cool. At the top it says black in a very, very dark.
It's blacker than the blackest black.
Mm-hmm. But there's a label on the back side of it that's got the QR code, and they are all ghost stories. A glass of whiskey, each carved into the Ghostwood tree. It's legend. It soaks up a part of you, one glass, and the darkness beyond the firelight. Ooh, spooky. But, so, yeah. I think they saved some money and just had one bottle printed.
I'm good with it.
I'm not mad.
I'm good with it. Who really cares?
Where I was going with this is I thought I saw this say 120 proof earlier, but it's not. It's 114 proof.
Okay. Well, closer to 120 than 90.
Right.
Well, if we're going to roll right into it, let's do it.
This particular bottle was actually barreled in 2017. Let's do it.
Yeah, so here in this, the second paragraph here on your notes, it says, there are a lot of benefits to a barrel proof for an avid whiskey drinker, not the least of which is customizing your preferred proof level. But this higher proof really shows off the mash bill and what these grains really taste like together. Ghostwood Black has been a great experience for me to make, and I hope you enjoy it as well. I don't know who it was that wrote that, but I'm looking forward to trying the barrel strength because of what it says there about the higher proof really showing off the mash bill and what the grains really taste like together. Like we said, we went over the 4 grains. It was corn, rye, barley, and wheat.
I feel like this is a slightly darker color.
Yeah, definitely.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, these barrel strengths are always darker, unless they're putting colorants in them or whatever. Boy, I'd be pissed.
Well, and then they should not be categorizing it as bourbon then.
There's something on the nose that I didn't pick up on the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not the straightforward.
Yeah, it does have the usual suspects, but they're enhanced. It's like somebody zoomed in.
Pinch zoom.
Yeah, like I was trying
What you were trying to do on the bottle?
On the tiny bottles, trying to read the labels. Yeah. So describing the nose, we've got what we had before, which was the oak, kind of a light oak, kind of on the nose. There was definitely the toffee, the vanilla.
Is there a little bit of maybe a burnt brown sugar?
I was thinking either the sweetness for me, I couldn't tell if it was a maple or like you said a brown sugar, but burnt sugar. Did you say burnt sugar? If burnt sugar's the thing, then it very well could be. Those kind of get confused on my nose and on the palate. It smells good. Let's palate.
It's a lot of the same flavors, just woke up. I mean, it's...
Definitely woke up. And there was...
there's a custard there that I picked up. There's like a creme brulee custard. Right on as the palate transitions to that finish.
On my palate, it dipped away from the sherry, right, that I was picking up on before until like mid to late finish. Came some of that kind of sherry, whatever that is, whether it's sherry or not, I don't know. But I think if it did have sherry, they would have said something about it in the notes or on the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally getting kind of a creme brulee custard creaminess on the palate into the finish.
Yeah, this is just like the blended bourbon whiskey, just...
It's better.
Way better. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with the original.
This is a fantastic example of barrel proof shining through. And really giving you its all, so to speak.
What I kind of like about it, though, on the palate is it's got that unidentifiable sweetness, like sweet ingredient, sweet influence. I can't figure out what it is, but it's so good. It's wonderfully simple and wonderfully complex at the same time. It's probably coming from the grain itself, like the corn and the wheat and the barrel, of course, but still.
It is kind of like a sweet corn kind of a flavor. Yeah, I mean, it's now that we've kind of talked that through and I thought about that custardy flavor I'm getting is kind of a cream corn, sweet corn custard.
That's wild how it tastes. It reminds me so much of that Breckenridge PX.
That was good. That was really good.
Now I'm starting to wonder if it being aged in a sherry cask had fuck all to do with the way that tasted before. Maybe it was just how they're... Maybe it's a very similar mash bill. Definitely tasty.
And knowing what different cocktails we have planned for one of these bottles, which in my mind I've kind of already decided which one we need to use. But I'm even more excited than I already was because I think everything that we have experienced on the nose, palate, and finish, especially for me, this barrel proof really opened it up and really allowed all of those things to come to life. To me, this is the one to use for our cocktails, or at least one of the cocktails. Man, that is so good.
I didn't pick up any nuttiness like we did on the first one, though. The first one, there was almost kind of a butter brickle or peanut brittle, kind of something going on there. This one, not so much. That was gone. But the other flavors that were there were just, they were woke up. You know, it's like kindergartners on caffeine. And I'm going to check on the Book of Faces real quick and see if anybody said anything.
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey Tribe?
I would be
Nothing.
surprised.
There's just there's a heart reaction on it. Let's see what Kansas City Whiskey goes.
Honestly, out of the two, I would have thought the Whiskey Tribe may have somebody that would have tried it to chime in. But my guess is Casey Whiskey Guild. Again, I stumbled upon it just because it was an ad that popped up, and I saw that directed me to their website, and I learned about them that way. Outside of that, it would not have been on my radar. They do not distribute in the area, so I'd be really surprised to find anyone else that's
let that be a
tried it.
lesson to any of you distilleries out there that might be listening. Do your advertising on socials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people like us are going to see it and think, fuck it, I'm going to try it. Because you bought it because it looked cool. I might have bought it because it came from Montana and I'd never had anything from Montana. Yeah. Plus, it looks cool. And so when we get it here, we sit on it for months and then we finally open it up and it blows our minds.
Yeah.
Maybe not that extreme of an experience.
No, but I'll probably reorder it.
Very happy with it. Yeah. And we would have never known.
It's like that Iron Smoke.
Iron Smoke, yeah, same thing. They went hard on their advertising.
They have, and I think
since you bought the first bottle,
they're doing a fantastic job.
Like 6 months ago, or more.
We found them from a Flaviar tasting box, and then I immediately was like, I want a full bottle, and so I bought a bottle. I got their chocolate peanut butter cream, which
was
bourbon
delightful.
Cream.
We had that on the Mother's Day.
I still have just a
little
bit left, but yeah, and so it's kind of it's up there on our rankings, and so this is one that I stumbled upon it just because of click. What's this all about? And it's great. I'll definitely order this one again.
Yeah, you can fall into the trap sometimes with some of that click. I wonder what this is about. The next thing you know, your computer has AIDS. But all these single women in my area wanting to meet me. Well,
no,
going to Mama China to get me some crab rangoon. Making it rain. That's what that sound was. It was nothing nefarious going on here in Stay with the Burn Studios. It's not like anyway. Family show. Fap. Family show. What'd you give it on the nose, W2?
I gave it 4 1/4.
I gave it a 4.
We both came up some.
Yeah. I came up. How much did I come up?
I think you came up.
A half point.
A point.
Yeah.
I came up a quarter.
A quarter point. How about the palate?
Came up a quarter also to 4 1/2.
I met you at 4 1/2 because for me the palate on this one was almost a wow in comparison to the original.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's
really
so good. So good. Maybe a year ago I might have been a little shy around 114 proof, but I really through the course of this podcast I've really developed an appreciation for higher proof.
Not to mention, not that long ago we had 133.34 proof
on the high proof night. Yeah.
Well, no, that was the seagrass.
That was a seagrass. Okay.
Boy, howdy, that was hot.
That was something. We should have taken a drop or two of water at least, but we didn't.
On our high octane night, though, the Bookers and the Stag, those were 130.
Bookers was 130.
I think I think Booker's was 133. The Stag was 130, or maybe they're flip flop.
Thank you again for grabbing me that bottle while you were out of town of the Booker's.
I'm excited to get into it
because the second we cracked yours open and really started to dive into it, and
it doesn't drink like the proof.
It was so good.
Says it should,
So I have my bottle at home. I'm just waiting for the right company to come over or whatever, and I'm going to crack that baby open and share it with some people.
I kind of want to, like we did tonight with these two Ghostwoods, I kind of want to put my, the first Bookers we tried was the 2023 Batch 2.
Yeah.
And then the latest one that I got is the 2023 Batch 4. So it's the batch that just happened. I kind of want to have those kind of side by side also to
see how they're
experience
different?
what we already experienced, and then how this new batch differs from earlier this year.
What if it's wildly different? What if it's not different at all? What if the differences are so subtle it's just like,
What I love about Booker's,
I have no doubt that it's going to be amazing.
Completely off subject at this point, but what I love about Booker's is...
Yeah, you're right. It is off subject. We were talking Ghostwood tonight. Now we're talking about Booker's.
Their website, they're not giving away any family secrets or anything, but they are, every one of their batches you can look up, and it gives you, because their Booker's is blended of a lot of different barrels and from different floors and locations in different warehouses or whatnot. They give you all of that information of where these barrels came from, and then the percentages of those blendings.
Yeah.
And then they're not giving you just an age statement. They're giving you a age, year, month, day. I mean, that batch 2 was like a 7-year, 2-month, and 6 days, or
and
something
you know
like
what?
that.
They might as well put down the exact
time of
percentages and all that, because it really doesn't matter. No other distillery is going to be able to match that,
right?
And really, why would they want to? Because each distillery wants to be unique. They want to show the world what they're bringing to the table. Now, even if they did copy every single thing that they did, there's 0% chance that just because they have 6 barrels in warehouse H on Rick 7 and 4 on the south side and north side, like 3 over here and
a floor
4 over
3
here, on floor 3, like there's a 0% chance that they're going to get the same outcome, because all of the wood and all of the barrels is different. Plus, there's different microclimates going from like your house here and on your street here to a cul-de-sac, 4 blocks, to the west. It could be a little bit elevation could be a little bit different. And that means your frosts come a little bit earlier or later, depending on whatever. It's like it's so easy for Mother Nature to fuck with things. So like, if you try to be precise with this stuff and try to rip off somebody else's formula, it's just not going to work. You're going to get something similar, but why would you want to copycat that? Be yourself.
I'm trying really, really hard to I've been doing a lot of online research and all that, and I'm trying really hard to, just because as I've dug into the Bookers and their story and
which is a fun story,
and how they all approached this, it's made me, especially now that I have the 2023 batch 2 and 4, it's made me want to seek out and find batch 1 and batch 3 so I have the whole year's worth. It's good stuff.
You just added a whole new level to your hunting. So
100%, because now, instead of just hunting for a bottle of something, I'm hunting specifically for a batch number.
Right.
We haven't gotten to it yet, but we have coming up soon. We're doing a series of Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
I've got the standard Elijah Craig offering, and then I've got a toasted barrel, and then I've got the barrel proof. Now, the barrel proof I am extremely excited about, because, and this kind of coincides with me digging into specific batch numbers on things. That's not just a Elijah Craig barrel proof. That is one that I got off of Flaviar's vault.
Oh, it was vaulted?
It was vaulted, and it had a very specific batch number with it. And researching that batch number, it's the last batch of 2022.
Okay.
So not this year's last batch, but last year's last batch.
Yeah.
Supposedly was a phenomenal batch. It's supposed to be really, really extraordinary.
Well, you know what? I was looking forward to it before, and now I'm extra looking forward to it. But that's a future episode.
Keep
Back
listening.
to this one. What'd you give it on the finish?
I also gave it a 4.5.
As did I. We're getting so close on this one. How about bottle presentation?
Okay, so
This is where we're going to differ.
maybe. So in the big picture of things, if I had just this barrel proof bottle in front of me, I would not have thought differently. I would not have questioned anything. But because we have this side by side with the other one, I noticed that the barrel proof label, aka decal sticker on the front, is placed perfectly over the bottle printed information that's on the standard bottle.
Yeah.
And then when I turned it to the back side of things, the entire back side is a stickered label.
Yeah.
Which conveniently covers the entire area that on the other bottle is printed directly on the bottle. By itself, it's not a problem. I think it's a great looking bottle. I think there's nothing at all wrong with it. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over here because I've just realized been bogarting it over
code.
here. It does.
There's a tree in the middle of the QR code. That's pretty cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
I underrated it. I should have given it a higher rating.
all of that said, though, because I feel like, and I'm not knocking them, I'm 100% not knocking them for saving a buck. But I feel like they put the sticker labels on the bottle to rebrand it for their barrel proof product.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I gave the first one a 4.5. I docked them down 4.25 because I feel like the labels were covering.
You feel like it was kind of cheapening the experience a little bit, maybe?
Because of our complete experience of trying these side by side, and we have both bottles. This by itself, like I said, I would not have questioned it. The thought would not have even crossed my mind that the decal is covering up their regular. And I'm hesitating calling it the tavern strength bottle because it's 90 proof. It's not tavern strength, but it is their standard strength bottle.
Yeah, 90 proof for a standard strength. Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. What I didn't notice it until I was holding it in my hand here. The labels that they added on here. I just inside baseball, I guess, whatever. I gave it the same. Spoiler alert. That's what it is. I gave it the same rating that I did the original, and I thought, well, shit, I probably messed up because they put all this attention to all the labels on here, and yeah, they are reusing the bottle or whatever, because I guarantee if you peel this back, you're going to see the same stuff on there. And I get it, you buy in bulk the basic thing that you're going to need.
Sure,
it's going to save you money, and they're probably as far as distilleries go, they might be just like a little mom and pop shop.
Yeah,
and we love supporting small businesses. All that said, the label is crooked. It's off center.
Oh, it is.
It's off center.
It absolutely is.
And then so is the back. You can tell because right here, it's the only mark. Right, that's your North Star, so to speak. It's off just a little bit.
Yep.
It's not twisted, crooked, but it's just off center a little bit.
Yep.
And then so I'm guessing that this is because like you look at the logo on the front, it's perfectly centered.
The tree is centered
according to this. Yep. So that's off. That's off. What are they doing? They don't have machines doing this.
Nope. Well, and to be fair,
and that's just me nitpicking the shit out of it. Like, there's nothing wrong with this.
To be fair,
this bourbon at all.
Our good friends and our local favorite, West Bottom Whiskey Company, they have the community come in and help them label their bottles all the time. So their bottles are all labeled by hand, but their labels, are not as when you're dealing with a printing on the bottle and then a label, it becomes a little bit more obvious when it's not quite.
If you're going to reuse the bottle, reusing is the wrong word for it. Repurposing or whatever.
No,
I don't know. Whatever the right term is. You said then actually use it as a guide, as your template.
Yep.
For getting your label straight. That said, I'm just nitpicking the shit out of the label, and really, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Anybody listening to this has probably hit skip a few times just to get past this part.
What are these guys doing?
It's fucking nerds. They're over it.
Chandler, I know you feel us.
Yeah. He's not saying something, but he's saying something.
He already said something.
He already did it.
So what did you give it on the presentation?
Bottle presentation, I stuck to 3.5. You dropped it to
I dropped it
4.25.
I'm looking over your shoulder here, and that Iron Smoke bottle.
Yeah.
It's the same bottle, which is the same bottle.
Shape, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have? The Balcones bottles were the same.
Rebel Yell.
The Rebel Yell, and...
I don't remember if I brought Rebel Yell over here. Did I? Did I ever bring Rebel Yell over?
We have not on the podcast, nope.
Okay, yeah. Now that we've been spoiled into being snobs...
We're bougie.
With your bougie ass. We're probably going to give it lower ratings. I haven't cracked it open, I think, since starting the podcast with you. So...
There's that.
There's just been so much. We've just been through so many. And Jennifer, she was going through my bottles last night. She was pointing them out. She's like, are you gonna how much of this? She's just kind of starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed because there's so many bottles. And she's like, because rest in peace, dear sister. She just died. She had liver failure, alcoholic, and couldn't get herself under control. And she lost that battle. Liver failure took her out. And so with that fresh on her mind, she was, looking at all the bottles on my table, in my collection. She's like, starting to feel a little bit worried. And I'm like, no, because each one of these bottles has its own little story. That this is from this, that's from the other thing. This one here, I'd hold up the rye, the Blacktooth rye. I'm like, this one here, it may look somewhat empty, but this went to like 3 dudes.
Right.
With a neat and a cocktail and a cocktail each, and I haven't opened it since. And she's like, yeah, but you gonna drink it or are you not gonna drink it? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna drink it. Of course I'm gonna drink it, but I'm not in a hurry to drink it because I've just got so much other stuff, And she was worried about me going through so many days on the Advent calendar. I'm like, look, I have to. We have to pre-produce these. We have to get these out ahead of time. Otherwise, we're hosts, and I'm only doing 4 tonight. Only 4. And but honestly, I'm not even drinking the entire bottle. I'm getting maybe 2/3, 3/4 of the bottle. Mm-hmm. And because I want to go back and sample a little bit of it to see if it was still good or still awful like I thought it was.
That's what's funny. I've definitely, because with us doing those tasting boxes here on the podcast and splitting those 1.7 ounce bottles, going through the Advent calendar where I'm pouring that full 1.7 ounce, which is not a lot.
No, it's not. It's a pour.
You're literally
1.5 ounces is a shot.
A quarter ounce under 2 ounces.
Yeah.
A little bit more than a quarter under 2 ounces. It's not very much, but as I've been pouring that, I was like, oh man, this is a lot.
This is a solid pour.
It's a lot, but it's not.
It's a lot, but it's not. Yeah. Yeah, because we only need half of that to really kind of be introduced to it.
Right.
Just a hey, hello, how you doing? Not to go over to its house and eat its cornbread, but whatever the fuck that means. But we just, so, and plus, the Advent calendar came with 2 glasses.
Right.
Beautiful Glencairn whiskey glasses. So it's designed for you to share it with somebody.
Right.
It was it wasn't 10 years ago. It was maybe around 5 years ago. You were talking about doing a whiskey sharing thing or whatever it was. And, I wanted to do that, but that was 4 or 5 raises ago. So there was no way I could really participate in that, but I definitely wanted to. So and then coming full circle and then starting a fucking podcast with you, the guy that came up with the idea. Like, this is great. So, like, not only do I get to bring things to the table to share with my friend, we can actually discuss it and talk about it. Because something I didn't know before, that I didn't have the wherewithal before, is I tried to do this, but I couldn't do this because it was in a band setting. And when you're in a band, you've got all these different personalities, and not everybody wants to taste and dissect, mentally what it is that they're drinking. They just want to get it over with because it's whiskey. I just want to get drunk. Let's go! Rock! Woo! I mean, that's like Carlo. He would be that kind of person. Just give me the shot. Right. I'm over it. I don't care about the notes, so to speak, or whatever.
Now give me my mother's milk.
Where's my mother's milk? He doesn't talk like that. But the cool thing about having these glasses that really help wake up the different notes that you can smell on the nose, which is surprising about these tulip-shaped Glencairn glasses, and having somebody to really kind of dissect and enjoy these things, is it makes you more present, I think, when it comes to tasting these things. It brings you away from all the clutter and the noise of the everyday, and brings you right into the here and now, into this place, in this moment. So you're forcing yourself to pay attention to one thing and everything that one thing has to offer, which I could use more of that in my life with other things, because I tend to like to stay distracted, because if I focus, I hyper focus, and it gets me into this weird kind of mental tailspin. So it's just a good thing for me to be able to touch base with certain things and be able to focus in that way, I think.
Well put.
I'm not sure why we got there, or why I went there on that rant.
That's all right.
But it brings us to our total scores. What'd you get for the total score?
8 3/4.
Huh. I gave it 8 1/4.
All right.
Yeah, we're not too far off. Half a point away.
I was a quarter point higher than the first bottle.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you being a quarter pounder. There's got to be an innuendo joke to make out of that.
I'm sure there is.
I didn't half pounder. I quarter pounded her. Twice.
I pooped a quarter pounder.
All right.
Henry would have thought that was funny.
Right. Poop jokes are hilarious. They are pretty fucking funny. Going to refresh this here on the KC Whiskey Guild. Scroll down to my post. All right, KC Whiskey Guild, I have 1 blue thumb. Son of a bitch. And on Whiskey Tribe, I got 1 heart. No comments.
All right.
So this is fairly unknown.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I would love to try unknown whiskeys, unknown bourbons, unknown scotches. That way it helps get the word out about their product, and it helps give us another notch in the belt, so to speak, of checking it out. So I wrote down here everything the original blended bourbon whiskey had to offer times 3. If you like your bourbon at barrel strength, try this as soon as you can get your hands on it. That's where I'm at with it.
I like it.
And here pretty soon we're going to have cocktails with it.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
I thought this was incredible. I'm definitely going to be reordering this at some point.
As incredible as a standalone, or as compared to the original?
I like both of them, but the barrel strength stole the show.
Definitely did. I like it. Well, dear listener, thank you for listening to this episode of the Savor the Burn podcast. We definitely encourage you to check out savortheburn.com. Check out, you can read about this and many others in the liquor cabinet. You can check out the affiliate links I was talking about in the shop. You can always send us your feedback and send us an email, info@savortheburn.com. You can email Wayne, W2 at savortheburn.com. Stupid whiskey. You can email me, Jonathan, at savortheburn.com. And no matter what you're drinking, who you're drinking it with, or not drinking, wherever you are, doesn't matter. Always remember, keep on burning.